What's up, everybody? It is I, your all-purpose oracle, medium at large, and prognosticator extraordinaire, Sehatha, otherwise known as the Blind Seer, here to break you off some more elemental sign readings. These videos have been running long, so I had to take a break and upload the first two and then delete them, and now I'm doing these. So everything today has taken longer than it should have, and I drank way too much coffee, guys. Usually when I'm going through emotional stuff, I lay off the caffeine. It makes me jittery, it makes me anxious, it's counterproductive whenever I'm dealing with emotional stuff. So I've been fixing myself like 1 cup in the morning and then drinking half of it and forgetting about it every day. And I drank coffee all day long yesterday trying to get up the energy to do these, and I messed up bad. So when my kids got here, I was on like I call it a 36-10 schedule, where I'm awake for like 36 hours and sleep for 10. I have this really weird insomnia, and I'm largely nocturnal, so I've been kind of messed up by being awake during the daytime so much. And I feel like the videos tonight are coming out a little better because this is the first time I've been up all night in a while, and it wasn't on purpose, but you guys are getting the benefit from it, I think, because this is my natural state. I'm really fond of saying, like, just bluntly, that I'm not a light worker, and I'm not. I don't pretend to be. That's not my gig. More power to the people, the legitimate ones out there. And most people that refer to themselves as light workers are sort of like the shadow of the spiritual community, and their function is to show us things about us that maybe we don't enjoy so much, so that we can grow past them and we can help them grow past their thing. And there's a duality to it, and I'm not on the light worker spectrum. That's why I'm a nocturnal. There's not a word for what I am. I go with Seth Berender. It's a old form of Norse magic, which is the closest thing I've ever found to what I naturally would be doing if I'd never read a single book about this stuff. So without further ado, we're doing air signs this time, so this sort of rambling intellectual waxing is kind of appropriate, I guess. Also, I've been doing this in all the videos. I think I'm a little more comfortable in front of the camera now, and I've got a lot of what I've been dealing with for the last few weeks out of the way, and haven't been talking to other adults much. It's just me and my 7 and 9-year-old daughters here in the apartment for the most part, so I got a lot to say, and I guess, I don't know, but for whatever reason, it could be all of the stuff going on in Aquarius right now. I might make a post about that, I don't know. It's something I've touched on in a couple of the videos, but there's a lot of planetary activity in Aquarius that is super significant right now, and I'll get to that later. For whatever reason, I'm in such a weird mood today, and everything has gone so ridiculously off schedule and off plan, and now I'm back on that 36-10 schedule, but I'm doing some of the best work that I've done since I started this channel, and maybe even since I started my page. Maybe some of the best readings of my entire 20-year career, I don't know. But I'm really on it tonight, so without further ado, we will get into Gemini. But we're going to have to shuffle first. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's one of those nights, guys, and like I said, I didn't plan on staying up as late as I did. My daughter got sick, and I don't know if you've ever had to clean up vomit with a broom and dustpan because you don't have anything else, but it's not a pleasant experience, and you don't feel like going to bed right after that. I had to tie a scarf over my face. It was so bad. But it's part of being a parent, you know. I went from being homeless 2 years ago. Like, I've been mostly I've stayed in places or stayed with people, but I've been mostly homeless for about half my adult life. And about 2 years ago, this is only the second time I've ever really had my own place. And about 2 years ago, I managed to pull it off. I spent a couple of years working on fixing my credit so that I could borrow the money, and I got an apartment, and I've been making it work ever since. And then for the last year or so of that, I've been putting this stuff out there for you guys so that I can try to give back some of the good fortune and just, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a better place than I've ever been, really. So I've been trying to do as much from that position as I can for other people, because that's, if it wasn't for people that did stuff like that, I wouldn't be where I am. I took a lot of help to get my life back on track. And this is my way of showing gratitude to all the people and everything that helped me out along that path that I can't contact anymore, or that I'll never see again, or just that I'll never be able to do anything for, but I can pass it along. I can try to help out people in my way now that I'm good. And I'm not great. I'm certainly not living high, but I'm stable. So I'm trying to do the best I can to help you guys now, and try to give back that love and all the lessons I learned along the way, so that maybe somebody else doesn't have to spend 20 years getting their life together. Anyway, what we want is whatever reading is the most beneficial for the air signs in my audience, the air signs in the lives of anyone watching, for my channel and for my page, my business, and my family, everyone involved with this video. That's the left. Definitely the left. I went on a little rant about the pendulum and the subtleties of using it. There's a lot of nuance to properly using a pendulum that most people don't really get. And it's usually the first tool that people pick up, and they move on pretty quickly, and they never really explore it to the fullest. There's so much. It's one of the most versatile, magical tools that you can have, guys. So hit me up for pendulum readings or whatever, but I have some ideas for stuff that I'm going to post on my Facebook page. I didn't mention this in the first two videos because I hadn't got the divine command, or whatever you want to call it, to do this, but I'm going to make some posts on my Facebook page about some ideas I have for the channel, and I'm going to let you guys vote on what you think about them and how they should be done. So be sure to check that out if you're not already following me on Facebook. That way you get a voice in this, because if I want the people watching this to have some say in what they're watching, and feel like it's interactive as much as possible. So that's one of the ideas. I want to try to do a live video, but we're going to get into Gemini before I get off track again. I'm rambling so much today, guys. I had like 8 cups of coffee. So Gemini, you have the King of Swords. You have reached the end of a mental cycle, or a belief system, or a way of thinking. Your perspective has changed in some way that has altered your mental space, and you are done with the way things were before and moving on to something else now. The king represents the waxing moon stage, where the wavelength begins to collapse back down. And I go over it in the other video, so be sure to check them out. Even if it's not a video for your sign, there might be stuff that I talk about in it that would be useful or just worth knowing. So be sure to check out all my videos. It would help me out with the YouTube algorithms and all that, but you also might learn a lot. So there's that to consider. You have the Queen of Swords inverted next. So there's some other idea. This is I'm going to have to pull a third card, guys. This is such a confusing reading. That's like having the the waning moon before the full moon, or the full moon inverted. I'll figure it out. The Knight of Pentacles inverted. So, all right. What I see here is that some way of thinking, or some idea, or something has come to an end, and there's another one that should be coming to fruition right now. It should be taking that place that's been vacated, or at least beginning to form what is going to take. No, I mean, it's the Queen, so that's like the full moon. That's like the peak of the waveform, and whatever is meant to take the place of this idea that's come to an end, you're rejecting it. You're not willing to work that into your life, and the Knight of Pentacles inverted shows that this is your way forward. Uh, it may be something you don't like, the idea of Gemini. It may be something you don't want to do. This new way of thinking, or new way of looking at the world, or this new way of operating. Uh, I like the word paradigm for this, for the suit of air, and especially for the royal cards in the suit of air. It's about a shifting paradigm, and this new paradigm, it may not be appealing to you, but by not embracing it and not accepting that, you've halted other energies that are going to keep you from progressing forward. And specifically Pentacles. So that's going to affect things like your career and your finances, like basic survival needs like food and shelter and transportation, sort of sometimes. But by not embracing this new change and not stepping into this new role that you are meant to occupy right now, or accepting this new viewpoint or paradigm, or whatever this mental energy that's supposed to be coming to its peak right now that is being pushed away, that's your way forward. And by rejecting that, you've pushed away your earth energy. You've stopped the progress. All of this stuff is interconnected. It's like wheels with cogs. So by stopping the air wheel, you forced the earth wheel down here to stop. And like, a blockage in one element will result in a manifestation of issues in another, or in that element itself, but it has sort of a cascading effect where one stops flowing and that blocks the flow of others, because like I said, it's all connected. So you got to put your feelings aside on this. I've talked a lot about this in the videos for the last couple of weeks, but especially in the ones today, that like, the world that we knew before, it's gone. There's no going back. It's not that like things won't ever be somewhat normal again, like whatever the word normal actually means, but that's a whole other thing. But what I mean is, we're never going back to what was before. We'll go back to something similar. We'll adapt to something similar, but it'll never be quite the same again. This is a global experience that we're all having as a species, as a global community, and it's something that's largely never happened in such a personal and like real world impactful way that touches the lives of everyone. This is something really significant. So the world's not going to go back to what it was before, and holding on to things from that time isn't going to serve you right now, Gemini. So I mean, you guys have a really exceptional ability to compartmentalize like no other. So if you need to, put that in a box and set it aside for now, and hope for the best that when the world comes back, you can step back into this older role that you enjoyed much more. But for right now, guys, it's a matter of survival. That's why I've been urging mutual aid and helping each other out and trying to do whatever you can for your community and for the people around you. And because like, we're not all going to make it through this transition. I talked a little bit in one of my other videos about some magic that I personally did over the equinox, and some that a lot of other people have been doing that I won't get into because like that's their thing. But there's been a huge shift in our reality, and a lot of things are going to be different now, and not everybody's going to make it through that transition. And I know it seems cold to say that so bluntly and dispassionately. I'm not an emotional person, for one, but like, this is the kind of stuff that is why people don't make it, because like, they're unable to adapt, or they're not healthy enough in some way. And I'm not talking about necessarily the whole virus infection and immunodeficiency thing, but that's like the earth energy aspect of it. But there's other elements to it too. And like, there have been waves of this going before. If you knew what to look for, you would have seen that a lot of older, lower vibration, like heavier energy, it's not going to come with us. And unfortunately, That's some people's baseline, and that can't be helped. This is something that we go through a lot, so it happens throughout history, throughout society. It's I won't get into it too much because I don't want to make this video an hour long, but suffice to say, Gemini, you've got to adapt to the new truth that whatever is demanded of you for right now in this transitional time as we adapt to this new world, that's where you got to go. Even if it's not fun, I'm not enjoying my new role necessarily. I'm seeing the benefits of it, don't get me wrong, like these videos and the quality of my work tonight, even though everything's hectic and crazy. I call this the Temple of Chaos, and I am the High Priest of the Discordian Society, and there are valid reasons for those things. I thrive in chaos, so take that for what it is, Gemini, but you've got to change. You've got to let go of what was, and you've got to embrace what is needed from you now, even if it's not pleasant. I don't enjoy my role entirely, but I'm giving as much as I can because it's needed, and that's what's needed from you. So I wish you the best of luck, Gemini, and I'm going to move on to the next one. Guys, I'm talking so much and going off on so many tangents tonight, but I feel like none of them are irrelevant, or it's all really valid, really important information, and a lot of it's stuff I've been wanting to say in videos for a while now, and just it didn't come out. I couldn't find a way to work it in, so it's all just sort of flowing out now. And I don't know, people have already responded well to the first few that I put up, so this might be what my videos are like now. Anyway, we're gonna do Libra. Libra, you have the Six of Cups. Libra has been having a good time, it sounds like. Six represents Tifareth. I've mentioned that many times, and Tifareth on the Tree of Life is the Sefer of ideal existence, is the way I like to word it. I also mentioned earlier my thing about why I pick so much emphasis on this word, and then I'll give others that are kind of the same. Neurolinguistic programming and general semantics, just to refresh those who didn't see it. But that's why I'm so finicky about exactly what word I use. But like, ideal existence is what the six represents in the suited cards of the tarot, and specifically the suit of cups. And the Six of Cups and is the suit of like emotional energy, and you're having a good time. You're very fulfilled. You feel like you're getting everything you wanted right now. That is so rare. Good for you if that's the case, Libra. Sorry guys, I memorized the social media card, but I haven't memorized the elemental sign card yet, so I'm just learning as I go. We have the World inverted. I get why you're happy, Libra. Libra, as you can imagine, is a very independent sign. You guys probably are enjoying the isolation and the social distancing, and there's parts of it I like. Truth be told, there's a lot of it I like. But you seem to be of the same mind that I am, because right now you're fulfilled. You are a rare oasis of peace in all of this panic and fear and anxiety that everyone else is having. So that's cool, because you've cut yourself off from the world. You're staying indoors. You're staying put. You're happy. And I'm impressed, Libra. Libra, yeah. So the Death card inverted. Now, usually I would read this as a change that needs to happen but is being resisted. However, this is something I've been meaning to bring up too. There's a reason I do the 3-card readings. Remember, I've been talking all night about waveforms. There's the low end of the bell curve. This is something, I'm going to bring it up now because you guys have seen that whole flatten the curve thing. So it's probably fresh, the image that I'm trying to illustrate here. There's the low end of the curve, and then it comes up, and then it goes back down, and that's the spiral waveform that everything flows in. These are the 3 aspects of that wave is what these 3 cards literally represent. So that's why you won't see me doing things like the Celtic Cross reading, even though it's super popular and everybody's familiar with it, I know, and most readers on YouTube use that one a lot. Before I get into this, Libra, if you don't mind, the Celtic Cross tarot spread was invented at around 1910 or 1915, and I'm not 100% on that, but it's between 1910 and 1925, somewhere around there is where it originated from. The information that I use to interpret and lay out the tarot cards, which wasn't necessarily intended for that, but it's what the tarot itself is based upon. That's the difference. I know the underlying structure of the deck in a way that most people never come to because you don't see it. There's very few books that will explain that aspect of it to you. But anyway, I don't use the Celtic Cross spread because it's only 100 years old or so, and the information that I'm using to do this is like, I don't know, pre-Kabbalah, because it was created long before the Kabbalah was written. So like 6,000, 8,000 years old, and it has existed and been preserved all throughout human history that entire time. So I've been pointing out a lot lately in some of my videos the difference between me and other readers, and that I feel is one of the most significant. That most people that are doing readings now are working with information that's about 100 or 200 years old. Some people, the really good old school, like Thelemites and like Gardnerian Wiccans and stuff like that, they're using like 500 or 600 year old information. Some of the really good ones, but I wasn't trying to be a tarot reader. I have a doctorate in metaphysics. I studied so many other things that I used to do this. That's why I put the video library down there. So the reason I explained all of that is to come back to this, Libra, the death card that I would usually read as a transformation that needs to happen but is being resisted. In this case, with it being at the end of the wavelength where that form is closing, it's telling you to resist change. Keep doing what you're doing. You seem happy with what you've got going on. You are fulfilled. You've been doing well. You have isolated yourself. You're keeping away from the rest of the world. And the cards are telling you, keep it up. That was a really, really long walk to such a short answer, wasn't it, guys? But yeah, I feel like I could have just said it and been like, the cards are telling you not to change what you're doing. That's what most people probably would do. But I want to explain why I got to that conclusion from a card that I've brought up in other videos and explained a different way. That in this case, because of its placement, it's telling you not to change. So, Libra, enjoy your time alone in your vacation or whatever you want to call it. Keep doing what you're doing and kind of brag about it so that other people get the idea that they should be doing it too. Everything, whatever you can do to help. We'll do Aquarius. This is my home territory. I'm actually between Aquarius and Pisces, but anyway, you guys are going to get a super good reading. Aquarius, you have the Nine of Cups inverted. I have trouble reading this stuff with my contacts in, but I can't shoot videos without contacts. So if you guys ever see me struggling to read stuff, it's because the contact, it's vision issues. Blind seer isn't just a clever name. But anyway, you have the Nine of Cups inverted. So I don't know. Let's get another card or two before I get into it. The Two of Pentacles and the Three of Cups inverted. So Nine of Cups inverted would be subconscious anxieties, fears, maybe trauma, things like that. It's emotions that are buried. It's things that are under the surface. And that's kind of, well, I'm so not surprised to see that in an Aquarius reading, I guess, is like, that's kind of our strong suit. Like, we are not emotional people. We're an air sign. We are the peak air sign. We're very intellectual. We're not so much on the feels. And we have a tendency to bury things. It's just easier that way. We're really good at compartmentalizing, not quite to the degree that Gemini is, because you guys, hats off, but we're pretty good at it too, and we tend to use that as a way of just shoving the emotion stuff out of the way so we can focus on the more interesting intellectual stuff that we feel is more stimulating and more deserves our attention. It's just an Aquarius thing. So you've been suppressing some feelings, Aquarius. You're not dealing with your emotions. You're not processing stuff. You're just stuffing it down. And this message is actually super straightforward, and this isn't going to go over well with Aquarius, I can already tell. But so the Two of Pentacles, you have two options about the way you can progress forward in your situation, in your physical manifestation, I would say, in this category. Because in the second spot, at the peak of the waveform, I would take this earth energy as being two paths that the wave forks. It's in a superposition between two possible outcomes right now. You can choose to continue to suppress this emotional energy. It's not too late to not do that. I want to point that out before I continue. You can choose to continue on this way, which Aquarius is want to do. It's kind of our go-to move, but you will be missing out on the opportunity for a lot of emotional growth and a lot of progress that won't be accessible later in the same way. So I'm going to appeal to you from an intellectual standpoint on this, Aquarius, because this is a hard sell, what I'm trying to lay down here. You have an opportunity, if you embrace these feelings, instead of shoving them down, if you pick them up and you analyze them, especially with our forte for detached observation and impartiality. If you were to dig up this emotional energy and really look at it from a distance and pick it apart and analyze it and see where it comes from and how it got there and what it is about it you don't want to deal with and why you don't want to do that, you'll learn things, powerful things, by the way, about yourself and about your place in your reality and your energy. It's the role that you play in the lives of other people. And there's so much, like, I had to be awakened to it by someone who cared enough to show me that I was missing out on a lot. I still have a lot of work to do in that area myself. So that's why I'm in a position to explain to you why it's worth it to do this. Because digging through, once we have successfully repressed an emotion, it's gone forever. It's in the vault. We don't go in the vault. But we can't continue on that way, Aquarius. It's not healthy, and we're trying to move to a healthier world. I've been telling everybody else that we have to let go of our toxic traits, and Aquarius, for you and me and all of our brothers and sisters, that's a big one. So we got to start processing this emotional information, because we can become much deeper and more complex. It seems low priority because there's no way to do it faster. There's no shortcuts. There's no clever secret to doing it better. There's no way to show off how good you are at it, which, let's be honest, Aquarius, you enjoy doing. But these are things that you're not going to get from processing emotional energy. And that's part of why it's not an appealing thing for Aquarius. Having said that, and I've spent the last 2 years putting more work into my emotional intelligence and empathy and all of the things that I was lacking in than I ever have in my entire life. So I'm not telling you this like from a position, from some ivory tower where everything's easy for me. I had to work at this, guys, and you need to do that too. You're missing out on so much. I'm such a better father and a better person and a better friend and a better counselor and advisor to you guys. I'm a better, I hate to use the word leader for the whole Maleclipse Discordian thing, because that's not what I do, but I'm a better high priest for the Discordians. I'm a better reader for you guys for having put in that work for the last 2 years to dig up those emotions that I'd repressed and figure out why and what's up, and to especially learn to process like the emotions of others is something that's really hard for a lot of us Aquarius. It's we don't do ours, why would we do yours? But you got to get through that. That's one of our worst, guys, and we need to work on that a lot. So there's a lot of growth and a lot of like nuance and depth and complexity to the world around you that you're missing out on, Aquarius, by not dipping your toes in the pool of your emotional aspect. And there's a lot of energy and information in that part of ourselves that we tend to deny the most, that we really shouldn't be ignoring. So I'm going to call it quits for this, because I put so much work into this. I can honestly talk about it all night. It's personally one of my worst traits, and I know it's common with Aquarius. So just try to understand your emotional aspect, Aquarius. I know it's the part of you that you are least in contact with, but it has so much valuable information, and there's so much potential for growth there that you won't get anywhere else. And it's from personal experience, it is worth putting in that work. And that's where I'll call this an end. These are running so long tonight, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope these readings are helpful. Give me some feedback on these. If you guys like the videos being like this is what they'll be like from now on. I'm a little more comfortable and confident in front of the camera now. I'm starting to bounce back from everything I've been through for the last 6 weeks or so and get my energy going again. So I've got a lot more to say and a lot more to give, and as long as I can work it into my schedule and still take care of my responsibilities at the temple, then this is what you'll get from me if you guys enjoy it. So if you did enjoy what you see, and leave some feedback, you can drop some comments down there while you're hitting the like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit the little bell thing to turn on notifications so that my daughter told me about this because she watches YouTube people that, anyway, you won't hear about when I post a new video unless you hit the little bell thing. That's long. If you want to help me out and toss a coin to your seer, then you can do that in the description below, and I hope I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.